Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
Uh-oh. Here we are. With another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Wait a minute. It started with uh-oh instead of all right.
Because you were teasing me about it. I figured I'd throw a curveball to you, Peter.
You curved.
Episode number 174. We are 26 episodes away from my caper.
Oh, you're going to pull a caper on 200?
I'm going to pull a caper on 200.
Well, you better make it a double. We didn't do anything for 100. There was no lobster. There was nothing. What did we do?
We changed the music.
Oh, whoopee.
Oh, no whoopee.
Well, I don't even hear any of that.
Episode number 174.
Okay.
How much money are you losing by not answering seller questions correctly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
If your self-image is that you are not a salesperson, you will not make the amount of deals and money that those who see themselves as salespeople. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. This one point is so powerful that Grant Cardone wrote a best-selling book called Sell or Be Sold. How to get your way in business and in life. If you are losing, which by the way, you should go get the book and read it.
Yeah.
If you are losing more than you're winning in real estate, then you need to realize you are an amateur on this topic. End of story. No conversation. And in this podcast, I will not cover a lot of theory, but instead give you some of my most powerful objections, stalls, and resistant handlings so that you too can use them with your sellers and make more deals and much larger profits. Then you soon can become someone who knows what you are doing and get the show on the road. In this episode, I plan to take you from amateur to pro by giving you my most used persuasive answers to sellers so you too can get results like I do. Big task, huh?
You can do that today?
I am. Better get some pencil and paper for this one. You're going to want these hidden jewels. So, I'm going to start off with, this is not a podcast. This is a workcast. W-O-R-K. Work. Yes, you have to work. Stop surfing on the web. Stop doing whatever you're doing while you're listening to me in the background. Or shut the damn podcast off and do it later when you can sit at a desk and take notes, because I tell you, this podcast will make you millions if you do it correctly. End of story. I've never done anything like this because I think this is probably, Emma's telling me it's book worthy. I should write a book about this. She's probably correct. Unfortunately, whenever we do a seminar or a workshop and we try to teach people this, it's the least attended and most ignored. Yet it is the exact thing that makes the most amount of money in this business. But people have a button on being a salesperson, and people have some, crap in their mind about being persuasive or negotiating. And I've just decided, because I just did a survey recently on my email list on are my emails valuable to you? And I was surprised by the answer, by how valuable my emails are. And I was told that one of the things I could do more of was this. So for those of you that answered my private emails, you're on my email list, and you did that survey for me, this is for you.
Good. So what they ask for more?
Well, they wanted more tips in the emails.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I had a couple people ask for, and it wasn't very many, but I had some people ask for, was how to handle objections, stalls, and resistance. They don't call them that. Seller's concerns or what somebody says when something happens.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Okay. So first I need to cover this before I actually give you a couple of the, I think I have 12 objections, stalls, and resistance. There are more than this. And the other thing that I would like to do, and I'm going to come back to this, is, it was hard for me to decide because there's objection, stalls, and resistance when you're on the phone, and those are different than when you're in the house. So what I did is I mixed them today. So there's some of both, because there's going to be some for beginners that are on phones, and there are some that are people that listen to this podcast, like my coaching clients. Almost all my coaching clients listen to my podcast. So this is for a couple of the guys that have been around for a while, so I wanted to kind of mix it. Okay.
So a few for like some of the good ones when you're on the phone and some of the good ones when you're actually in the house.
Right.
So either way, you got some of your best jewels there, huh? Okay.
So to become one of the greats that can do what I'm about to show you, you have to practice, not just play. Okay? This is a Grant Cardone thing. In other words, ball players don't just play ball. Right? They practice a lot. The more they practice, the greater they get. The more money they make, too.
Oh, yeah. It works that way.
Actors are the same way.
Yeah.
These actors that make all these millions of dollars didn't do it in one cut.
No, they take classes, they practice, they do theater on the side, they go somewhere off Broadway or whatever, and they keep practicing.
Correct. Also, if you really want something great to happen, you've got to be unreasonable about it.
Now, when you say unreasonable, I think you mean like a more positive one than most people think when you say unreasonable, right?
You've got to be unreasonable about that greatness. So, I don't know. I know what I mean, so why don't you tell me?
Well, I think most people, I know what you mean too. Usually people think of unreasonable as like, don't make any sense. But I know you mean like you put your foot down and you're going to just do it. You're not going to come up with reasonable excuses in quotation marks. So it's reasonable not to do this. And so it's just really being firm about your things
I think
that
both
you're doing.
definitions matter.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you should do it. Because that's how greatness is. I've told you in the past, one of the ways that I make decisions is I do a little survey in my family or in my arena, and the more people that say no, the faster I do it.
Yeah,
because it's against the herd mentality. That's totally a Dan Kennedy thing.
I just read in a book today that people that are very successful with the money too do the things that other people don't want to do.
Right. That's right.
They're being reasonable about it, and we're like, we'll do it anyways.
So even if you have to convince yourself beyond reason that what you have is better. In other words, you have to convince yourself first, right? If you let your certainty waver or have some doubt, just a tiny bit, you won't do as well until that's handled. You have to handle you first. You have to be so certain, so confident that this is correct. Become so thoroughly sold on your solutions for the sellers that your conviction is irresistible to the others. Now, why am I talking about this? Because if you don't have this in, this is the first thing you have to get in. My words won't do crap.
Yeah.
Okay? The real estate investor who is completely convinced that the proposed solution is completely the best thing for the seller. You get it?
Oh, yeah.
Best thing for the seller.
Yeah, yeah.
That he won't not let them do the deal.
Yeah.
Because it is the greatest good for the seller, for him, for the house, for the neighborhood, for whatever, for the bank, for the lenders, for the buyers. It's the greatest good for all of them. And if your conviction is so solid that you will not let him not buy or be part of the deal or do the deal.
Yeah. No, I see you do that when you're working with people, because you can't have the attitude, oh, I'm going to be in real estate. I'm just going to make a bunch of money for me. Right. It's too one-sided like that. You have to take this approach that you're talking about. You have to look at the other guy's situation. You got to help him.
So I promise not to go into theory. I'm just letting you know that the theory behind this, and I'm not going to go into this. I just want to say it. Mm-hmm. This is a very delicate subject because I'm not talking about force. I'm talking about enlightenment. I'm talking about changing somebody's mind or showing them that this is the greatest good for them and everyone involved. Mm-hmm. And that's a very tactful thing to do. Okay? Only because the investor will actually feel like, if he doesn't close them, if he doesn't do the job, the investor will actually feel like he's violating his own integrity by not helping the seller. Mm. And when you're in that zone and you're using the words that I'm going to give you and the sentences I'm giving you, if you're that determined to help the person, it comes through. Mm. And the most amazing things happen. You've got to make it so true to yourself that you can say it to others with such conviction that no one would even challenge you.
That's right.
I'll say that again.
Yeah.
You've got to make it so true to yourself that you can say it to others with such conviction that no one would even think of challenging you.
Yeah. It reminds me of if there's a wild animal in front of you and you feel fear, they know. Yeah. But if you're brave, they'll walk away. Right. I've seen people scare bears away and funny things like that. You see shows, people do that because they're not afraid at all. But you're talking about like just really knowing what you're doing. I've seen you do it. Somebody's there, they have this situation and they want to do something and they're going to ruin things. They're going to make it's the wrong way to go. They'll lose the house. They're not going to make the money they thought they would, and you have a better plan, and you just stay in with them until they can see it. And if they don't,
that's right.
If they don't, you gave it your best shot. Yep. And maybe they come back, call you a month later, or you hear that later down the road it didn't work out. It's like, you don't go, I told you so, but you tried.
The most masterful person that I've ever seen do this is President Trump.
Yeah.
Like him, hate him, doesn't matter. You know who he is.
Yeah.
Because his conviction of what he thinks is right is absolutely convincing enough that it got him the presidency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a month or two goes by and he'll say something and yeah, that was right.
Yeah.
And you have to understand successful people are not the herd. The herd is in the middle. It's like a bell-shaped curve. The bottom is the idiots, the top of the successful people that seem to be able to find enough truth or enough reality to do things right. In the middle, we're not sure what to do, so we kind of go in circles. But either end, the middle doesn't get.
Good. So here's another point. To the degree that you disagree with the offer, like I wouldn't do that deal.
Oh.
Subject to is a perfect one.
Yeah.
I would never put the deed
yeah.
in somebody else's name, right?
Yeah.
To the degree that you disagree with an offer is the exact percentage of closing ratio you will have on doing deals.
Yeah.
They're very connected.
Oh, yeah. No, you see people do that.
Right?
I wouldn't do that. We're not selling it to yourself.
Yeah. You have to be totally certain your offer is the best solution for the seller. And they will know this by your demonstration, your belief in the deal, your actions, your confidence, and how you want to help them. Unconventionally.
Mm.
Getting deals isn't about money. God, I can't say that enough. We were at a dinner last night, and we had this new group that we were forming. Right, this kind of was supposed to be like a mastermind group, but I don't think it's going that way. And we spent a third of the time talking about money.
Yeah.
These guys don't get it.
Yeah. But there's no deals.
Getting deals isn't about money like so many amateurs think it is. It's ultimately about your buyer having confidence of what you're offering, right? And what you're offering is their best solution and confidence they are going to get it with you. Are promising without major help. Okay? Are too many stumbling blocks. I'm going to say that again. So they're so confident that what we can do is the best solution for them, and we're going to deliver it, right? And that they're going to get not only what we're offering, but more.
And this is for sellers or buyers?
Doesn't matter.
Either way, coming and going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to be certain yourself that this is the greatest good. Having trouble making decisions? Measure it on the greatest good. If there's 5 people involved, answer to each person in your own mind, is it good for them or bad for them? Is it good for them or bad for them? How will that affect them? Is it good or is it bad? Just measure in the group that you're in. You know, like the line is at 0, it's like neutral. Anything positive is plus, anything minus is negative. Just measure it, and you'll know whether you're making the right decision or not. Right?
That's right.
Lastly, once your buyer believes he wants your solutions, okay, it should be seller, your buyer or your seller, okay? Once your buyer or your seller believes he wants your solutions more than his own money or equity, you'll make more deals. You can't really put a price tag on love, can you?
I don't want to answer that question.
You afraid your wife's listening?
No. Any woman, they'll slap my... No.
Well, it works like that with problems too. Right? If you ever had a serious problem, right? Suppose you had a serious problem in life, right? And money was no longer the concern, but getting rid of the problem was. You'll be right where your seller is and know exactly how to help them. And you will get the deal, and no one else can even come close to that offer. Is this making sense?
Yeah. You say it in a derogatory way sometimes, like sometimes you have too much money and you're trying to do real estate, just write checks to fill the holes. But sometimes, I just read this in this other book that I'm reading, if you have money, you can write a check and problems can go away. For the seller, if they have a problem, they're willing to concede some of the equity because it's so annoying that they will give you some. Like, I'm going to solve this problem for you. What are you going to give me? So much equity.
They're not even thinking that. The money has become minuscule.
Yeah.
The problem has become so big that they just want relief from it, and money isn't even a factor in the solution. That's a subject to person. You know, I hear so many times, why would somebody do that? Because the problem is so huge for them. That money is not a factor. And how many times have I heard that? I don't care. I just signed a contract yesterday with a young lady. It was a probate deal. And not only did I hear it from her, but I know her partner because they actually do some work for me, and they're part of a networking group. The partner who the girl that I'm dealing with wasn't at the meeting last week, stood up in the meeting and gave me a testimonial about how much stress I relieved from the partner, and now they can actually get some work done because she was having trouble getting the person that's talking about, they were falling behind in work, and she was having trouble at work because the stress of this probate deal was so immense in her mind, so big in her mind that it was taking over her life.
And it's not I know the girls. It's not a complicated job. That must have been a lot of stress not to do that kind of a job. Just not a crazy stressful. You're not sitting there like working contracts and can't concentrate.
Right. Whew. So she was like talking about how, and I spent like an hour and a half with her.
Yeah.
And said, here are our options. And I was totally like non-biased. You could do this. Here's the way you could make the most amount of money. And it didn't include selling to me. You know, like clean the house out, renovate it, do this, do that. You'll make the most amount of money. And in the end, it took a week, but in the end, she's like she actually had somebody offer her $45,000 more money than I was offering her.
And how did you?
I didn't. She did. She
Why?
Point blank said to me, "That's a relative, and I don't trust him.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what he's up to, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Because I've been down that road with him before. I trust you. I know whatever you tell me, you're going to say. I mean, whatever you say, you're going to do.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's the fastest way to build trust with anybody. Is just have your words match your actions, or your actions match your words. You say you're going to be somewhere Thursday at 2 o'clock, be there at 2 o'clock. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. And that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point, and works out just exactly like that.
Good. All right. So all this makes sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Good. So let's get on to some of my most persuasive answers for sellers' objections, stalls, and resistance.
Sharpen your pencils.
So I had some concern that this podcast was going to run long. The only way that I can keep to my time is to just read them and not go into the theory of why they work so well. But before I start, I want to get agreement from my listeners and from you. I know I have it from you, but I want to state it very clearly. Okay? Most have this opinion of my intelligence, except for my email guy that was calling me stupid yesterday. Which that's the first I've had one of those. Actually, I take it as a compliment that guy actually was calling me stupid, because when I follow Ben Seidel, who if you want to know anything about writing copy or emails and all that, Ben Seidel, S-E-T-T-E, Settle, S-E-T-T-L-E. Okay, he's amazing. I get his newsletter and I freaking love it. In any event, I don't even know why I was bringing him up.
Oh, he said he called you stupid, and if you do, yeah.
Ben taught me that the only way you know you're doing well is if you get hate mail. Then you know you're out there reaching. You know you're really getting it.
You're pushing.
Yeah. I mean, how do we get that on our phone, right? You answer the phone and people are like, "Take me off your mailing list. I got 3 letters and I'm not selling my house."
My wife doesn't understand why it said personal. Deeply personal. Irrevocable. Yeah.
In any event.
Hey, Bill, the greatest figures in history, all of them gotten deep doo-doo many times.
Exactly.
Hung, shot, shoot, yeah.
So the reason why these work are not because I say so. Because these are not my evaluations. These are because I sat in front of so many people and tested them. Because I would write them down and I would read them off of a clipboard. Or I would memorize them with such conviction that I would just watch the response of, and I have to realize I lost track at 4,000 something.
Yeah.
Houses where I've sat there and made an offer. My offer, when I say make an offer, I'm not talking about to the realtor. Oh, I ran a purchase sales contract.
You're not writing something online and
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
It's
I'm
not
sitting
numbers.
in front of somebody. I looked at their house. I think probably, the shortest offer would be 30 minutes, because they're like, I'm not doing terms and we leave because I'm not paying cash. Okay, those are bad pre-screening ones. All the way where I've been in houses 4 or 5 hours. Okay, because there's just that many questions.
Yep.
Now that's not common either. it's common that it's 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a house around 90 minutes, then you've done a good job. Okay, because it takes 20 or 30 minutes just to walk through the house sometimes.
Yep.
And just get through the social chitter-chatter.
The dog,
Yeah.
the flowers.
So you do what you want, Mr. Listener, Mrs. Listener, but I'm telling you, point blank, with great conviction, that these words were crafted specifically and have been tested and then retested and then tested again and then again and then again and then again, and we still use them and we still test them.
Mm-hmm.
And these get the correct results. These are like laser beams.
Mm-hmm.
They cut through all the crap and get right down to business when you say these things.
You know what I think is really good about them?
Oh.
If you don't have these, most of us have nothing for a response.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing at all. Except like,
Well,
you know,
most listeners, when they go into a house, they wing it. That's a whole nother topic. But they shoot from the lip.
Yeah.
You know, like instead of shooting from the hip, they shoot from the lip.
Yeah.
And they are not prepared for some sort of rebuttal or some sort of question or resistance or objection or stall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not going to cover the common ones like I need to think about it. That's a stall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? An objection
It
is...
puts time in it.
Yeah, an objection, which one of them I'm going to cover is... well, the first one is no on the mortgage information.
Oh, yeah. So
That's-
how much
that's
do you own the
objection.
house? I'm not telling you.
That's an objection.
Yeah.
Okay. Resistance is, we'll go over a few of those too. So at the end of the day, what needs to happen is you need to build your foundation. You know, I tell you, you go into a house and you dig a hole in the ground
Mm-hmm.
and you take cinder blocks and you start building the foundation. And when you have enough of a foundation, you can build the house.
Mm-hmm.
Your offer is the same way. You need to get information.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes that could be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be weeks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get enough information, you can make the proper offer.
Right. Yeah, because it's not. The other what people do is like with the realtor, it's just a number, just a monetary number. You're talking about, and I see you do it. You just get more information. You start understanding what they're trying to do. When you finally understand what they're trying to do, maybe you can help them then.
I got to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
I have to completely assimilate or absorb or take in their situation.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't do that if you're not communicating.
Yeah.
So here's what happens. Is when one of these objection stalls or resistance come up, you're so busy trying to think about the answer that you've stopped communicating. So what these answers do is they continue the communication so you can get further information.
Yeah.
Right? So you need to make sure that you can get past these barriers. Mm-hmm. Not one of these is going to make, the person all of a sudden lunge at you, yeah, I'll do the deal. But if you do enough of them and you keep communicating, it will collectively come up to, and I know this, I thought it was me. Honestly, I thought it was me. And I've learned recently that it's not. I've had so many people say, I like you. Mm-hmm. You're a good guy. I'm glad you came. And I thought it was just me, I shun that stuff off. You know me, I don't live on that stuff. That's not something that I like. I don't thrive on that, right? Mm-hmm. But now that I've got my private coaching group and we talk about this on our coaching call, and I help so many people with this stuff, right? Because once you get serious about doing this, you'll realize that what we're talking about today is the meat and potatoes. This is where it's at. This is what makes deals. This is where the cha-ching comes from.
This is stop talking. This is what you do. D-O, do.
Right.
This is the doing part.
And all of a sudden now I get my students coming back to me or my coaching clients coming back to me and saying the same thing. Yeah. I really like you. You're really honest. And it's because they're using my words. So it's not necessarily me, though my personality has its own personality. I'm definitely a no BS guy for sure, right? Which, by the way, that works everywhere except with my wife. My wife wants me to tampen it down a little bit and be a little bit less aggressive. She wants to be a little lovey-dovey.
Bill, she's looking for a date. Hey, do I have to explain this to you? She's looking for a date. We'll have a talk later.
My mom didn't do such a good job there. All right, here we go. Enough chitter-chatting. No on the mortgage information. So go ahead. You said it before. What do you ask? What's the question?
Oh,
How much do you owe on your mortgage?
Yes, like how much do you owe? What's the balance on your mortgage?
That's the question.
Yeah,
right? And they say no.
Well, I don't want to tell you my personal information.
So now you have to understand that I'm going to read this to you. When I normally sit in front of a person, it's just like a switch and it just comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, but because I'm so touchy about the words, they're written down, so I'm going to read them to you. So if I'm stumbling or something like that, it's just because I'm not in my element.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting in front of the person, and it's just not a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
So don't mock me for that. It's just I have more attention on you getting the words than how I would say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't grade me on my delivery because I'm not trying to give it to you the way I would give it to my seller. Okay, so they say no. I would respond with, well, I understand, Pete.
Yeah.
But we get this information from everybody. It is not a big deal. See, we buy houses using several different methods, and all of them require the loan balance for us to be able to analyze if any of them fit your needs. There's no sense in giving you an offer that isn't structured around the debt and paying it off, because you won't do that deal. So I don't want to waste your time or mine. Lastly, if you are afraid, once I know your mortgage balance, I'm going to cut you out of your own equity, I promise just the opposite will happen. In fact, once I know the mortgage information, it will give us more options to help you sell quicker. Also, everything you tell me is completely confidential.
What's a kind of big answer? It's not a one-liner.
No.
But
it's true. I mean, there's so much sales tech in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I could take
the first one. We get this information from everybody.
Right.
Just think what that does.
Right. And then it says
just think of
it's
that.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. They think it's a big deal. Just tell them it's not.
Mm-hmm. What else do they have?
Yeah. Kid goes, I'm afraid of the dog. Oh, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
Oh, just tell them it's not.
So I'm going to read it again.
Are you proposing to me today? No, I'm not proposing to you today.
Peter. So I'm going to read it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so that if you're going to pause this video, you can write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not video, audio, because we're doing video and audio. Everything okay, Em? Okay. The TV keeps flashing over there. I just want to make sure we're all right. Yeah, it went on and off a couple times. So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it again. The answer is no, I don't want to give you a mortgage information.
I don't feel comfortable giving my information.
Well, I understand, Peter. But we get this information from everybody. It's not a big deal. See, we buy houses using several different methods, and all of them require the loan balance for us to be able to analyze if any of them will fit your needs. There's no sense giving you an offer that isn't structured around your debt and a payoff. You won't do that deal. So I don't want to waste your time or mine. Lastly, if you're afraid once I know your mortgage balance, I'm going to cut you out of your equity, I promise you just the opposite will happen. In fact, once I know the mortgage information, it will give us more options to help you sell quicker. Also, everything you tell me is completely confidential.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else to say.
Mm-hmm.
Does that handle it? Is it polite?
Yeah.
Is it a little stern?
I wouldn't say stern, but it's definitely direct. It has conviction and confidence, like you were talking about before.
Exactly.
We get this information from everybody.
Right.
It's not a big deal. You're just sure of it.
Right.
Because it's actually true. I mean, if somebody wants to sell their house, that information is going to be somewhere
Right.
At the closing,
Right.
the attorneys, the bank, the payoff, it has to be someplace.
It's going to come out.
Yeah, I mean, you have to use that.
Right. Now, let me be loud and clear with this. If you say this and it doesn't turn them around, it starts with an S word, with an S. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Suspect.
Yep.
See ya, as Ron LeGrand so politely and grumpily says, whack 'em.
Yeah. Because a real prospect is flexible, and they actually want your help,
Right.
and they're willing to work with you, etc.
The true concern with them telling you the mortgage, as far as I am concerned, is they feel like if they knew how much equity they had, you can outsmart them and steal the equity.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they don't want to give you the mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Because they basically what that's telling that's telling me that they're worried about their negotiating skills and they've been flim-flammed or scammed before.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take that into consideration. So
Yep.
that's what it tells me. Okay?
Yeah. I always have the opinion, and it's just my thought in my head, that when somebody's worried about a salesman, I'm thinking, I just tell them, well, look, hold your ground. What are you worried about? They can't force you to buy something. Are you afraid that you're gonna give in?
Right.
So who are you really afraid of, the salesman or your own?
Exactly.
That's what I think it really is.
So just take
Hold
that into
your own.
consideration when you're talking to them.
Yeah, and they've been burned a little bit, and they're wishy-washy a little bit. They can't say no, and just work with them a little bit.
All right, another one.
Yup.
Ready?
Yup. Ready.
This is one that I get from coaching clients.
Huh.
So even though it sounds like it's more of a on the phone thing, but I get it from coaching clients, right? Won't give an asking price. Even you've asked me this one.
What?
Won't give an asking price. They
yeah.
won't give you an asking price.
Yeah.
I don't know
not
how much
often,
it's
but-
worth. I don't know how much I want.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll look at it.
They don't want to be the first one to say.
So this has a two-part answer.
Yeah.
Because it usually goes that way. Not always, but usually. So you start off with, well, I need to know what ballpark you're in before we go any further.
Mm.
Once I get all the facts about the house, I will be happy to tell you what I can pay. But honestly, without you giving me a price, I have no interest in working on the deal until I get all the information about the house.
Mm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna read that again, just so people can write it down. Well, so the answer for won't give me an asking price.
Yeah.
Well, I need to know what ballpark you are in before we go any further. Once I get all of the facts about the house, I will be happy to tell you what I can pay. But honestly, without you giving me a price, I have no interest. That's the key right there. I have no interest in working on the deal until I get all the information about the house.
Yeah, I like those two parts, like all the information, because you're not just dealing with the number of the house. You need everything else to put the pieces together so that it includes the bigger picture.
Correct.
And you're not willing to waste your time, and it's like, you don't have to do that.
Right. Now, the seller often will come back and say, could you come look at the house and tell me what you will pay?
Mm.
That's often the response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or that's the original objection. Like they may not say the asking price. They're like trying to use their amateurish sales and trying to get you to fall in love with the house.
Oh.
So they want you to come out to the house and they want you to look at it. So you ready for this? You're going to love this one. I don't think you've ever heard me say this.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So here's my answer.
Mm-hmm. Now, this a second, like
So
A or B, or a further response if they still.
okay, so
Is this second thing?
So the seller would say, "Could you come look at the house and tell me what you'll pay?"
The response to that.
So whether
Okay.
it's a response from the first question or it's the actual objection, it could go either way.
Okay.
Okay, but the handling is this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And say it that way. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that like that, what does it sound like?
Sounds like you're interested.
And conviction.
Yeah.
And I'm ready.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. As soon as you tell me you're willing to talk about letting me make monthly payments until I can pay you off. And if once I look at the house and like the offer, you will consider doing business with me. What do you think? Should I come look?
Because this follows
amazing.
Because this follows your viewpoint that the price really doesn't matter that much. If you can pick the terms and get enough cash flow and enough time to make the money, if it's a little high, you can still catch up with more time or terms.
Right. So my saying is, I'll pay your asking price if you let me pick the terms.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Is this objection handling?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read it again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As soon as I'll give that to you again. Absolutely. As soon as you tell me you're willing to talk about letting me make monthly payments until I can get you paid off. And if once I look at the house and like my offer, you will consider doing business with me. What do you think? Should I come look?
And then you let them, so they can't say you forced me into this. You're leaving it open to yes or no.
Right. So the
thing that's going to
come up next, which I didn't write down, but the thing that's going to come up next is they're not looking to do a deal with you right now. Right. So what they're going to say is, well, I don't know if I want to take payments. I have to hear your offer first.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking you to consider it. So if I come out there and we talk about it and you like it, we can do business. But if you're dead set against it, I'm not coming. That's pretty much what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Because people are not that used to the concept of payments.
Right.
They don't realize it's the oldest trick in the book because, we don't have money to make payments on things.
Right.
So all you need is a little flexibility to just get one little step, right? Just step at a time.
That's right.
And it could work out.
And the connotation, because the realtor has done this since they've been on the scene, but the connotation is that you don't have the money. That's why you're trying to make payments. Now, a lot of listeners might be that way. They don't have the money. Well, that's a mental mindset, just like we were talking about in the beginning. If you have that mindset, then you're not delivering it with confidence, like I was talking about. You don't really believe you're helping the person if you think you don't have the money. Because you know what? I think I know a lot of people. I really do think that way. And I could tell you that the percentage of people that could write a check for real estate is very low. And I know a lot of people that own a lot of real estate. I mean, think about this. If people had money to write checks for real estate and it wasn't a thing to borrow money to buy real estate, then banks would not be in business. It's the biggest thing that banks do is lend money for real estate. That's what keeps their doors open.
Yeah.
You borrow $150,000 and pay for 30 years, you're paying $300,000 for that money. That's what keeps their doors open. They want to do that over and over and over and over and over again. That's what keeps their doors open.
Are you telling me that's the way banks make passive income on real estate?
Exactly.
They make passive income on real estate.
So get that out of your head that
debt.
You need the money. You need to go borrow the money or find the money or get the money because there is somebody that will want to do that.
Well, that's how the rich people buy big buildings. Nobody walks in, $500,000, $24 million, here you go. And they don't do that.
So just because I'm me, and I know there's an election coming, I've been reading a lot about Trump because I'm curious about him. Like, why is he the way he is? Why does he stand on the podium and stick his nose up in the air like he's just a pompous son of a gun, right? Why does he do that? Why does he say things that he says? Is he as dumb as the Democrats make him sound? I'm just curious because it's like there's two sides. There's three sides to every story. It's the Democrats, the Republicans, and then there's the truth. So I've just been reading entertainment, just reading some books that people have written about him that have known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely, positively, most definitely, it's not all his money. His daddy started when he was very young in Queens, New York. And his dad, when Donald took over the empire, his dad, I think, had 14,000 apartments. Okay. All over the country. And Donald actually took that over. And in 1992, I think, or 93, he tumbled. he went into bankruptcy with his casino, and he had some things. At that point, he actually figured out, which it's not like black and white. You have to read several books to kind of figure this out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He figured out that real estate is a good thing, but what's better is royalties off of his name.
Mm-hmm.
So what he figured out is if he buys these buildings and he puts the deal together and then puts his name on top of the building, he gets paid for the royalties of having his name on the building, and that was much more powerful than actually the building. So he went on a quest to get his name well known so he can get more royalties. That's the reason why he did The Apprentice. He had an 11-year run on The Apprentice. Okay? And that's actually, as far as I'm concerned, what got him a candidacy, because he was 11 years in people's living rooms watching him and his personality. And people knew who he was.
Yeah. And that is a business thing, right. That if you have goodwill for a company, the name, it's worth something.
Right. So my point in going off on this tangent is that you don't need, even he doesn't use just his money. He uses everybody else's money to buy the building, and he just gets his piece out of the deal. Mm-hmm. And that's all you need to know is you need to do that. Yeah. Right? So
that's how things are done. You're not supposed to have. I mean, if you had $1 million, how many houses can you buy?
Right. That's right.
4? Yeah. 4 little ones.
Maybe. Unless you're in the Midwest, you might be able to buy 10, but that's
go to California, it's 1.5.
Yeah, exactly. So the last thing I want to say about President Trump, and I know I'm bringing him up. I'm not even saying that I like him or hate him. I don't even know sometimes. Yeah. But I admire the fact that he can handle the amount of suppression and survive. Mm-hmm. The amount of attacks, and the amount of charges at him and still survive. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you this, something I've noticed recently, because I've been reading a lot about him, just because I want to know, should I vote for him or not? Yeah. Is he really who I think he is? Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of like doing my own little Bill thing. Yeah. I'm just researching it, right?
I mean, you're not going to just listen to the media?
Right, exactly. So here's the point that I want to make, and then I'm going to stop talking about the man. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, he became president for one reason and one reason only. He tells stories. He gets on the podium and he doesn't do a speech and tell the people what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. He tells stories. Now, the stories are about him and his success and how he's done this and how he's done that, but he tells stories. He gets on the podium and tells stories. No other politician's done that. And these damn politicians are so wrapped up in themselves that they don't even get that. They don't get that people don't want to hear what the politicians think they want to hear.
Yeah, well, I think we're tired of being promised things and it doesn't work. So we're used to, like, they're going to promise it, they're not going to do it. They're going to go home. I've seen reports that once they're in, they do not listen to the electorate. If you take a poll, what we want and don't want, they do whatever they want. Right. So people don't believe in that anymore.
So watch the man. Don't listen to the words if you hate him. I'm cool with that. But watch his conviction. Watch how he tells his stories and how much he thinks he's right. And it's convincing. Mm-hmm. I mean, it got him enough votes to get him president. So take that as a lesson. Just whether you like the man or hate the man, I don't care. But just take that as a lesson. And when you're delivering these words that I'm telling you about, understand that that's a huge part of it. You believe it, and your demonstration of it and your conviction of it is unprecedented. People will just believe you. People will follow you. People will praise you. There are so many things that come out of this. It's unbelievable. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is much more powerful than the words I'm giving you. Mm-hmm. Next one. We're going to move on because I had enough of that rant. Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, really?
So I don't have this problem, obviously, because my answer is, well, I've been doing it 16 plus years and I've done hundreds of houses.
Sure.
That I say that a lot because it just conveys positioning. Mm-hmm. I'm automatically positioned.
People like experience.
Right.
And that's true. There's nothing wrong with experience.
So now here's what I want to do. I'm going to read this. So first of all, I want you to know before I read this, let's put it this way, that I'm your associate.
Mm-hmm.
Because and I have coaching clients that do exactly this. I have a coaching client that was 19 years old when he started with me.
Yeah.
He's 21 now.
Yeah.
And he does amazing.
He can't say he's been doing it for 16 years.
He actually was the one that taught me this more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I didn't know it, but the value of it. Because he tells me all the time. He tells me on the phone when I talk to him, Bill, I just use your damn stories. I just tell him my friend or my associate.
Yeah.
And he did this and he did that. And here's what we're going to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he just repeats my stories.
Yeah.
So here's the answer. So the question is, how long have you been doing this? That's a good question. It's good to be smart. My associates and I have been doing this for 16 plus years. Now, obviously, I'm your associate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I have parentheses. Okay. And helping people with a house like yours has always given us great pleasure, which is why we have been around so long. It's a great feeling for all of us when things work out so well and everyone gets what they want. Okay, now I stumble around because of my writing here, so I'm going to do it again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good question. It's good to be smart. My associates and I have been around for 16 plus years, and helping people with a house like yours has always given us great pleasure, which is why we have been around so long. It's a great feeling for all of us when things work out so well and everyone gets what they want.
Because that's what he's worried about if you don't have experience.
Right.
Those things. So you say, these things happen. He goes, okay, they happen. Okay, good.
So you do what you want. Technically, if you listen to my podcast or our podcast, I keep saying mine, it's ours. Or you send me a support ticket, because I'm only a support ticket away, and I answer all of them. And there have been a few people that will press their luck, and they'll be like, want me to help them do exact deal structuring and stuff. And I'll let them know that that's infringing upon coaching time, and they're not a coaching client. But I always answer the question. I do not answer the question. I'll tell them I'm going to do it this one time, but don't send another one in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unless you're a coaching client, because it's not fair to my coaching clients that they pay me for those answers and then I give them to other people for free. It's just not fair. But I'm not going to leave you hanging dry, right? Or I'll send you to a podcast, or I'll send you to a video that will give you those answers, because you and I have created so much content.
The answers are somewhere.
The answer is somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's half the reason we do it, so we don't have to keep.
That's right. That's why I'm doing this today.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to keep typing these answers. Right.
No.
Okay. Ready? Moving on.
Next.
I thought I was ahead of time, and now
I'm counting the pages as you turn.
Yeah. What is a lease option?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it is also called a rent-to-own. That alone handles a lot. Okay.
Yeah, because they've heard it. The familiarity breeds comfort.
So basically, it is also called a rent-to-own, which, by the way, it is. I mean, it's very similar to a rent-to-own. You don't have to worry about splitting hairs at this point, because there is a difference, but it doesn't matter what the difference is. Okay? Basically, it's also called a rent-to-own. It's when someone pays to live in the house until they can get a loan and pay off the balance. All the repairs and responsibility go to the tenants after 30 days. So it's much like a cash sale that way. You're not responsible for all that stuff. The title stays in the seller's name, and you have no expenses because the tenant buyer will pay it all. It's actually the oldest way I can't read my own writing. Look at that. Okay, so I don't know what I wrote there. It's actually the oldest way that we do business. That business has been done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. God damn, what the hell is that word? That bothers me.
Oh, you got a funny word?
I don't know what the hell I wrote there.
Oh.
So actually, I'm just going to do it. It's actually the oldest way that people buy and sell houses, and have been doing it for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm doing something like that spiel on the phone, I tell them, realtors weren't around at a certain point, like 50, 60 years ago. So what happened before that? Like, I never thought of that. Yeah, people just did this kind of stuff.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. End of story.
So do I need to read it again? Are we okay?
I'm okay.
Good. So I'll read it again.
Yeah, I think you should read it again.
What is a lease option?
What's a lease option?
Basically, it is also called a rent-to-own. It's when someone pays to live in the house until they can get a loan and pay off the balance.
Mm.
All the repairs and responsibilities go to the tenant after 30 days, so it's much like a cash sale that way. The title stays in the seller's name, and you have no expenses because the tenant buyer pays it all. It's actually the oldest way that we've been doing business or buying and selling real estate on planet Earth.
Mm. It's true.
Okay. Next. What is owner financing?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. That means you sell the house and actually become the bank. We have a standard closing, and the deed passes from you to us. We pay all the repair, maintenance, taxes, insurance, etc., until the time we mutually agreed that I would pay you off in full. By the way, doing this is the best way to get top dollar for your house.
Mm.
Let me explain. If you sold, if I sold you my Mac computer today for $1,000 in cash, I'd be giving you'd be paying $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Good. If you were to buy my Mac computer today for $1,000 and put it on your credit card and paid for it over 24 months, you'd be paying more than $1,000. Agreed?
Yeah, plus interest, yeah.
Good. That's what we're doing with your house. Make sense?
Yeah, so it's longer time, more payments.
Right.
More money.
And that's it.
Okay.
Okay? Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So what is owner financing? I'm going to give it to you again. That means you sell the house and actually become the bank. That's key right there.
Mm.
We have a standard closing, and the deed passes from you to us. We pay all the repair, maintenance, taxes, insurance, etc., until the time we mutually agreed that I would pay you in full. That's important because they're thinking you're going to want to give them a 30-year mortgage, which if you could do, that's fine, but a lot of times you could do 5 years.
You saying they're afraid you will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait that long. By the way, doing this is the best way to get top dollar for your house.
It's good to throw that one in.
Let me explain. If I sold you my Mac computer today for $1,000 in cash, that means you're paying $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I were to sell you my Mac computer for $1,000 today and you put it on your credit card and paid for it over 24 months, you would pay more, correct?
Sure. Interest, yeah.
That's what we're doing with your house.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Next.
Yeah, the tough one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My attorney will have to review it.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Cough right in your ear. I'm going to get some water. Let you stew on it.
So in the last one, you did say we do a closing if that question comes up.
Yeah. You do.
Yeah.
My attorney will have to review it.
Yeah.
Of course. We would expect that.
Mm-hmm.
All of our closings occur with an attorney or a closing agent.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, not all attorneys are equal and familiar with anything beyond the traditional cash sale.
Mm-hmm.
So there may be some confusion. What unanswered questions may I clarify for you so you can explain everything clearly to the attorney? This is freaking huge. You have no idea how long it took me to figure this out.
Yeah. Because they're expecting the attorney to answer questions they may have when you're not around. And the attorney may not know the answers. And between the two of them, they blow it up.
So the attorney is supposed to be the opinion leader. They're supposed to be the smarter person.
Yeah, they're safety.
So the person that's selling the house is looking to go do the transaction and have the attorney give them advice.
Yeah.
But not all attorneys are created equal.
Mm-hmm.
So you may end up with an attorney that has an ego and doesn't tell you he doesn't know how to do it.
Mm.
But yet he's a stop machine. He just stop. Everything's a stop. Everything's a stop.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many deals. Well, I was ranting a few podcasts ago about the dude that I was trying to buy a 3-family house from, and I was offering him $200,000, and he wanted to give the money to his autistic grandson that I was going to end up paying $343,000, and the attorney was pissed off because I wasn't going to give him a $20,000 deposit.
Yeah.
And he told him don't do the deal.
Yeah.
It spooked the guy. And now the guy just wants a cash deal. So now he's going to take that $200,000 and he's probably going to get about 160, maybe 170 if he's good, which I don't think he's that good. And so he cut the kid's income by 60%.
Yeah.
Because the attorney didn't know what he was doing and was afraid. Okay?
Yep.
Going to read it again. My attorney will have to review it. Of course. You say that with conviction. Of course. We would expect that. All of our closings occur when an attorney, with an attorney or a closing agent. There are certain parts of the country that they don't have attorneys. Right? They use closing agents. Having said that, not all attorneys are equal and familiar with anything beyond the traditional cash sale. So there may be some confusion. So tell them there's going to be confusion. Take the opinion leader who's always right, who's the attorney, off of the pedestal. Okay? What unanswered questions may I clarify for you so you can explain everything clearly to the attorney? Because that's the reason why they're going to an attorney, is they feel like there might be another shoe to drop or they don't know what they're doing.
Sure.
So they need to feel confident. It gives you a chance to rehash the deal.
Yeah.
And pick up on their confusions.
All
right, next. Ready?
Go.
How long is the term? This one happens on the phone, in the house. It's like...
Well, it's part of the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, when am I getting my money?
Right.
Sure.
Well, that's up to you. And never mind. I'm going to read it. Well, that's up to you and I to set once I see the house. But frankly, the longer the time you give me, the more I will pay.
Yeah.
And the better chance of getting the buyer ready for the closing where we all get paid. That's magic. Where we all get paid. Not just him. We all get paid.
Yep.
It's the time that makes it more attractive to me and my buyer. Which also helps us want to pay top dollar.
Yeah.
Are you ready? This is important. Make sure you write these down.
Here's a little gold covered jewels.
What do you think is the longest you can go?
Yeah.
Not do, go. What do you think is the longest you can go? All right. Do it again. How long is the term? Well, that's up to you and I to set once I see the house. But frankly, the longer the time you give me, the more I will pay, and the better chance of getting my buyer ready for the closing where we all get paid. It's this time that makes it more attractive to me and my buyer, which also helps us want to pay top dollar. What do you think is the longest you can go? Next. How am I doing so far?
This is good.
Yeah. Seller doesn't want terms. This is a common one.
Sure.
Okay. This is if there's anything you get out of this podcast, it should be this, especially if you're using my for sale by owner script, because this is not on the script. Okay.
I'm going to filch that when you're not looking.
The reason why is because it's a little bit longer than I could fit on the script. Okay. Seller doesn't want terms. Here we go. Please write this down. Please use it. Please, 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 please. I'm on my knees, hands clasped, begging. Here we go. So you're saying, if I could bring you a terms buyer with substantial down who can pay top dollar and get you your money in a few years while doing all the repairs and maintenance and paying all your expenses, you'd rather I don't do this for you? And when they answer, you then say, what will you do if you don't find a cash buyer? Oh, that gives me goosebumps. You have no idea how hard that was to figure that out.
Well, that whole, what will you do if?
Which, by the way, I had to go through Ron LeGrand, Brian and Lynette Wolf, Grant Cardone, and a few other. There's Unlimited Selling Power, I think, by something Doring. I forgot his name. There's multiple books I had to go through before I could critique this. So the seller doesn't want terms. Here's the answer. So you're saying, if I could bring you a terms buyer with substantial down who can pay top dollar and get you your money in a few years while doing all of the repairs and maintenance and paying all your expenses, you'd rather I don't do this for you? And then they answer, and you say, what will you do if you don't find a cash buyer? It is freaking huge. If they're still like, no, they're a suspect.
Okay.
Move on.
Yeah.
But it pierces that social veneer and gets right to the raw answer, what the guy's really thinking.
You know what strikes me about that, what will you do? Some of the questions we have will put a person at different parts of their time, the timing. Right. So some throw them back like 6 months ago, and they thought, man, I better sell this house. And if this, I got to get rid of this. In the moment that they had the epiphany and and this one puts them in the future, like a month or 2 or 3 ahead, when they have plans to do something, like in 2 or 3 4 months, if I don't sell it, and it puts them in that spot, like, and they feel that pain as if it was happening today, so they can make a decision: is it worth it to do something, or if not, like, we don't want to play either. Then,
good.
The timing on that, it's interesting.
So we got 3 more to go.
Okay.
Next, what if they still qualify? I'm going to give that again. What if they still don't qualify when the option or balloon payment is due? I get this. I want you to know something. I'm doing this now, okay, for my coaching clients. I will tell you, in all of my offers, I've probably had this objection a handful of times. This is more, I get this question more from my coaching clients and my students,
really,
than I get from the actual seller.
They're doing something different in the delivery then, for sure.
But it does come up. So this is not a popular one. I don't think it is.
Somebody asked me that this week. I was on the phone with somebody.
A seller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's see how close I got.
Good. Here we go.
Yeah.
We would only select buyers who are very likely to qualify and they have enough skin in the game or skin in the deal.
Yeah.
However, if that happens, you have control over what happens next and can evaluate whether or not to extend the time or not extend the time. Worst case, they move and you do it again, or call me and I'll completely handle it. At that point, the debt will be paid down and hopefully the value will have increased, which means your profit check will be larger because your debt went down and the value increased. So there's nothing to worry about.
Yep. Yeah, because you ran into that once, like, oh man, they left. Oh, good, because you can turn a problem into an opportunity.
Okay. So the question is, what if they don't qualify when the option or balloon payment is due?
Mm-hmm.
We would only select buyers who are very likely to qualify and they have enough skin in the game or in the deal, however you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
However, if that happens, you have control over what happens next and can evaluate whether or not to extend the time or to us or not.
Yeah.
Worst case, they move and you do it again, or you call us and we'll handle it for you.
Mm-hmm.
The debt will be paid down and hopefully the value will increase.
Yeah, you can't promise us. You say hopefully.
Right.
Okay.
Which means your profit check will be larger.
Your punchlines are good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you listen, there's the explanation, but at the end, the bottom line is something good can happen from it. Something good. Yep. You know, that's the whole point. Like, it'll be good if you do these things.
Here's a really popular one. This is a really popular one, and I don't think I've actually handled this for too many, because I have various answers with this. It depends on my mood more than anything else. But this is the correct answer, which I vary from often, but it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Can you send me some information?
Okay.
I would know the answer. I would know what information to send you. I would need to get more facts and see the house before I can decide on what's best for you in the deal.
Yeah.
I minimally have 7 different ways I can buy your house. And if I send you all that information, it will completely confuse you and nothing will happen.
Mm-mm.
Once we get an idea of what's best for you, I will put everything in writing for you to see it. So, if you are willing to take monthly payments to cover all of your costs until I get you paid off, I would love to come and look at the house. When can we do that?
It's even your punchline. When can we do that?
Right.
It's not can I do that, it's when.
So we'll give it to you again.
Mm-hmm.
Can you send me some information? I wouldn't know what information to send you. I would need to get more facts and see the house before I could decide what's best for you. I minimally have 7 different ways I could buy your house, and if I send you all that information, it will confuse you and overwhelm you, and nothing will happen.
Mm-mm.
Once we get an idea what's best for you, I will put it all in writing so you can see it. So, if you're willing to make monthly payments to cover all your costs until I get you paid off, I would love to come out and look at the house. When's best for you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that said, there's one more thing I want to tell people that I think we have done, or mostly me, but I have done, that is absolutely genius, because it eliminates all the hoopla that's taught out there that you need a website, you need all this kind of stuff for people to go check you out. Mm-hmm. If you go to the flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff, that's flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff, there's a document there that is called Lease Option Explained.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5-page document that you can download. If for some reason you want to be lazy, which we are more than we aren't, and don't want to do this response handling, you can just send them that document. It will do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It has commonly asked questions in there. It covers a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you could do that as well.
And if you're close enough to figure it's a lease option deal, you don't have much to lose.
Well, even if it's not a lease option deal, it definitely sets the pace for this is what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm. If you get there and something completely different happens, that's okay too.
Well, you're not going to send the form and not talk to them again. You're going to follow up and find out what's going on. You're not going to go out to the house without talking to them again.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they're open to that and you get to the house, it might be a different deal. You can still, maybe that Maybe do something else.
Right.
Put you in communication. It can take, the thing you taught me the most when I'm on the phone and I'm stuck and I don't know what to say, just keep talking, listen, ask some questions, keep moving forward, and then, it'll fall into your lap. Just don't stop. Just keep
Sooner or later
talking.
it'll come.
Talk to them again. Call them later. That's like you're building the foundation.
That's right.
Sometimes you got to do it on the phone, and you don't just keep talking. Yep. Something will come up. Get out of it.
Another one. This is number 11 on my list, by the way.
Yeah.
Why don't I just list it with a realtor? Right? You can. But a realtor won't make your payments, do repairs, take care of the maintenance, and buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
I will. And with me, you'll pay no commission and get full price. I'm your buyer. Why do you want to go look for another? So I'll do it again. Why don't I just list it with a realtor? You can. But a realtor won't make your payments, do the repairs, take care of the maintenance, and buy the house. I will. And with me, you'll pay no commission and get top price.
I'm seeing a pattern in your responses. The very first thing you do in these is you don't argue with them.
Mm-hmm.
You agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
You can. Yeah, sure, no problem. You notice that, folks?
Because it's true.
And it is true. But our natural tendency is to be, there's this weird thing. I don't want to call it natural, but there's a tendency in us, let's be honest, to disagree. But why would you want to do that? Right. But all that stuff. But this is brilliant. It's like, you can, absolutely, sure, no problem. But if then you keep talking, and at the end, it's like your position comes up at the end. It's really, and it's not sneaky or it's just the truth.
It's enlightenment.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Come through it.
Why disagree with somebody? Because it's true they can. But here's the other side of the story, and here's how we benefit you.
What do I teach on the coaching call? One of the things I say most is this: you're going to make 3 offers.
Yeah.
You're going to make a low offer, you're going to make a high offer, and then you're going to make an offer that you want them to do in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So one of the things that you have to do in a vast majority of your deals, okay, is give them a cash offer because that's all they want.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get around that?
Well,
give them a low number.
It's kind of low.
Because if we aren't buying with a deep discount, we're not playing. Mm-hmm. And just to give you a rule of thumb, it's usually about 50% of what the after renovated value is.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, right?
Yeah.
So if the after renovated value is $200,000, I just say to them, the cash price is going to be around $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Now, if it's completely pretty and gorgeous, go with 70%.
No, it doesn't matter. If I'm using cash, that's the number. So it's after renovated value.
Yep.
Times 70% minus the repairs. So is that what you're asking? So you don't use the repairs.
Yeah. If there's no repairs, it's absolutely beautiful. The 70%, it was the minimum. I learned that from you. It's just like, it's not 100%. Well, what's the number then? 70, because you need that gap for all the expenses or anything you do plus some profit.
But here's the point. You don't know that when you're on the phone. So you're better off to give a lower number and then come up. If you're giving an offer on the phone. Anyways, well, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
The point is this, that you have to, just what you're saying, you have to get rid of that natural tendency of what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to listen to terms if they think if you haven't given them your cash offer and they haven't rejected it, the terms aren't going to sink in.
You have to get that off the list.
Right.
Okay. And if they do say yes, it's not terrible either because the number would work for you.
That's right.
And if they take the too damn high number, at least it's too damn high.
Right.
So,
and you'll get really good terms.
Yeah. So you can't quite lose.
So the cash number, the lower number, think of it this way. I don't think I've said this in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it this way. The low number, okay, is you make your money with equity. Buy low, sell high.
Yep.
The high number is you give them all the equity and make your money on payments.
Right.
Right, which is where the statement came from.
What?
The statement I say, there's 2 ways to make money with real estate.
Right.
buy low, sell high, or make money on cash flow.
Right.
So the first offer is the buy low, sell high.
Mm-hmm.
The high offer is on the cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them all the equity.
Mm-hmm.
The middle number is a mix of both.
Mm.
It's like a balance. It's kind of like like a scale.
Yeah.
Like a left and right, and it's like like when you do a low offer, the scale tips one way.
Yeah.
And when you do a high offer, the scale tips the other way.
Yeah.
Right? This is our presentation pack. If you look at the presentation pack.
Yeah, that's right. So you got the scale.
If you do the middle offer and you get a little equity and a little cash, it evens the scale out and everybody's happy.
Yeah, you got the two little holders going up and down with something in the middle holding them. The arm with the two holders on the ends.
Good. Last one, and then we're done.
Hey, Bill, it didn't seem that terribly long.
You're gonna laugh at this one.
Oh, good.
But honestly, it's the best way to do it.
What?
It's
really short too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. What is it?
How do I know I can trust you? Ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Well, I think I've heard you do this one.
This is a Bill. This is a Billism. Okay.
Yeah. Watch this, folks.
Do you have any reason to believe that you can't?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
How do I know I can trust you? Do you have any reason to believe that you can't?
Yeah. Did you ever say? Did you ever say like, "How do I know I can trust you"? You ever say it back?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not going to.
That's a little more fisticuff type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that'll turn into that. So what Peter's talking about is that when we're doing a terms deal, often I'll turn the plate around and say, "Well, I know you're having trouble trusting me, but what about me? I mean, what happens if you don't perform? Then I'm in a predicament." And then I go into this little spiel about, okay, so if I do a rent to own from you, meaning the seller, and then I put a buyer in there on a rent to own, and you don't perform or you don't pay your mortgage and go into foreclosure, I now have litigation from my buyer because I can't perform because you're not performing with me. I can't perform with them. So now what's going to happen is I have a lawsuit because you didn't perform. Yeah. And I'm being rude to you, Mr. Seller, but I think I probably have more properties than you do. And the pockets are probably a little bit deeper, although they aren't, they seem to be. To an attorney, they will anyways. And I got a bigger problem than you got. So how do I know I can trust you? How do I know you're going to make your mortgage payments and not go into foreclosure? How do I know you're going to pay your taxes? How do I know you're going to pay the insurance and the house burns down and it's covered? How do I know that you had the right insurance amount so if the house burns down, it's covered? How do I know all that? Then I'm not going to get litigated against. Suppose you don't have the right insurance amount and the house burns down and a little kid gets killed. Now what happens? They leased from me, not from you. So now whose insurance are they going to tap into? Mine or yours? I went off on a little tangent there, but that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that other question, your other answer is much nicer because, in fact, if there is a concern, they could say it. Right. Then you can handle it. That's be another objection that you could handle at least.
So
how do I
know I can trust you? Do you have any reason to believe that you can't?
Yep. Good answer.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. We didn't do too bad. Hour and 20 minutes.
All right.
I thought it was going to take a little longer. So there are more than these. We will probably circle back around to them. I'm a little bit, I was reluctant to do these for quite a while because I don't really think that people that are just trying to learn how to buy and sell houses get the significance of how powerful this portion of the deal structuring is. But I have enough people that are listening, and we have, after 173 shows, I think we have a following. I think we're up to 983,000 downloads. We haven't hit the million yet. It's taken us a little while, but that's okay. We have a consistent download stream every week. It seems like there's a following that listens to us every week.
Yep.
We've also had a lot of response with the. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I would like more response on. Please go give us a review. Because we have had some response, but not enough. And I would also like, what I was saying before is I've had a lot of response with support tickets. So the two things you should know is when you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com, on the top right-hand side, it says, one of the links says podcast. If you go there, then you can leave a review there. There's a place to do that. There's a button there to do that. Also, if you go to flippinghouses4rookies.com, top right-hand side, it says contact us, and that gets you into our support system. It's just Emma and I that look at those multiple times a day. So if there's a deal structure or something that I'm talking about, you and I are talking about on the podcast, please go ask your question there, because I'm personally going to answer them. It's not some assistant or somebody from India or something like that answering my support tickets. It goes right to my desk. There are some days where we're really busy and I answer it the next day, but it's never more than that, because it goes to my phone, my laptop, my computer. It goes everywhere. Emma, I think if Emma could, she probably would take a little piece of note paper and put it on my pillow at night, so when I laid down, she knew that I had the support ticket. Okay, she's really good with that. So just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com and you'll get everything there. Up at the top right hand side, go to podcast, give us a review, or go to contact us and send us a support ticket with any questions, because we're here to help. Okay, with that said, we're over and out. Talk to you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.